Welcome back to Football Daily. It's lovely to have you guys. This week, we're talking things with Joe.
How's it going?
Wait, what do you do, Joe?
Not much, just kind of bumble about.
Yeah, bumble.
Bumble, yeah.
Bumble. I've not heard that since my childhood. And of course, Craig Mitch from Filthy Fellas and Spurred On, and you're going to like his Instagram too if you like good-looking guys in clothes. Isn't that right?
So kind.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's telling the truth there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
He is filthy. So we're going to get straight down to it. Let's talk about your favourite team, my favourite team, everyone's favourite team, Bournemouth's favourite team for sure, Chelsea. And
yes.
What happened there?
Good God, I don't know. They just capitulated yet again. Everybody thought they'd gone on a little streak, didn't they? Starting to put it back together, and then old Eddie Howe rips it up again.
Yeah.
Good old Eddie Howe. Good for him, man.
He's a giant slayer, isn't he?
Yeah.
In some aspect. He
Loves
is.
it.
But do you know what I find hilarious? That every time they get a decent result, they come with the same rhetoric, oh, we've turned a corner, it's going to change, and then they just go back to reality. It's so unfortunate.
But so why is that happening at Chelsea?
I think the experienced players that were once there are not the experienced players that are now there. So when you had your Drogbas, your Lampards, your Terrys that were...
Terry's still there, mate.
Well, Terry is, but
mentally
he's...
checked out now.
Probably. Same as a few people I know, but I think that those players that were once there were very gritty, determined, knew how to grind out a win.
Different generation.
And I think you look at this generation. I think they missed the likes of Czech. I think Czech was a poor sale to make it. You would have been a good head in that dressing room. I think the likes of Lampard leaving, you've lost a lot of big personalities and replaced them with, I'm not sure.
It's interesting you say that though, because it's more or less the same team that won the league last year. There isn't many changes other than maybe John Terry, so it's a strange one.
Can we ask a question? How many times has the Premier League been won where it's not been a team that's streaked out ahead, but a load of other teams have just gone, it's not our season, man, and just checked out early, then one team's just sort of gone, we'll take it, don't you worry, guys. Well, we won't entertain you, we'll just be Chelsea. And that's what they were last year. It's like it wasn't a particularly good league season last year. It wasn't like a title race or anything particularly special.
Costa scored his goals and combined well with Hazard, and he isn't scoring goals. Hazard's playing pretty mediocre football, although he's probably the best of a bad bunch right now.
I'd say Willian, to be honest. I think
Willian,
unbelievable.
Willian's
He's the only one that
fantastic.
puts in 100% every single game.
That's because when they go down, then he's looking for the sale. He wants to get out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But do you think at all though? What about the idea that Diego Costa's been found out?
Found out in what? What do you mean by found out?
People sort of say, well, like, you know, it's Diego Costa. The English Premier League has worked him out. Now he's a nasty bastard, and now we've worked that out. We'll use that against him. And you know, if you cut off the supply lines, which are pretty typical to Diego, then he finds it difficult to get goals. Do you agree with that?
I kind of do, you know. I think he had kind of one main level to him, which was absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
And then people figured it out, and they've kind of used it against him in a sense. I think they try and toy with his mind and play the mind game back equally. It's kind of reciprocal now.
Yeah.
Well, he's like the most aggressive player in that Chelsea team, but he's also the least you would want in a fight with you, because he's the guy who gives it the big one, doesn't it? And then no, sorry lads, I'm just shooting off kind of thing. And I think that's exactly what's happened with Chelsea, where he gives it the big one on the pitch, but he hasn't got the mental strength and capacity to go, you know what, I've got to buckle down now, really grit in and start scoring.
By the way,
goals.
he is definitely not 26, okay? I don't care what his passport says, I don't care what they've put down, he's at least in his early 30s. At least.
I was saying 40s.
Maybe even 40s.
Yeah.
40s.
Someone says he looked like some sort of fisherman from like just off the coast, so you see him come back in and you're like, yeah, you do crabs, don't you? When he does crabs. Point number 2, the Nevilles. One of them is already there, the other one's joined his brother. Gary watched as Barcelona drew 1-1 against Valencia. That went well.
Good result for Valencia. Yeah. Barca missed a lot of chances, but nevertheless, it's a good way to start building momentum. If you're Gary Neville now, you step in and you go look at the Lyon game and think, how do we move that momentum from Barcelona into Lyon smoothly? The fans were going absolutely mental when that goal went in at 84, 85 minutes. So now, see if they can get them a style rocking again for Lyon's arrival. Yeah,
because that is a critical game for them. It keeps them in the Champions League, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's too early. I have to say, I think it is way too early. I think he could have kind of coasted a bit more in England. There's a lot of pressure involved right now. And pressure does make diamonds. Yeah. But will he become a diamond? This is the question. I think it's too early to tell, but if he does, I'll be happy for him.
What is Gary? Is Gary like graphite?
I think it's the perfect time. I disagree a little bit. I think he's got Peter Lim there. That Peter Lim loves him. He's got his brother there. He's brought a load of people with him. And if you've got a big club like Valencia come knocking, and you've got your brother there, and you've got the owner that loves you. Why would you not go for it? Why would you not?
Hey guys, I ran a poll on Twitter. Yes, you can run polls on Twitter now. And
what did those 8 people say?
It was actually 304 votes, Laurence. Okay, and
which is more than a L'Oreal ad. So.
And yeah, I mean, 51% of people actually said they think he should take the job, and 49 said no.
Close. Really? Close.
It was close. It was very close, and it was interesting. But I'm still not going to agree with you. I think it's too early for him. Yeah.
The thing with it being too early, maybe it's too early if he was to take a long-term job. But if you look at the context, is it that this is 6-7 months where he gets a bit of experience as a manager, working at a top club, working in another league? He's already got experience in management in other areas under a number of top managers. Yeah. He seems like a real student of the game.
Definitely.
I like the Salford City doc. He was great.
He was.
He was so considered. He was the one guy in the room, along with Paul Scholes, that seemed to have a bit of that.
I think what that documentary really showed is that he could adapt to a different culture of a club. He went straight from Old Trafford, which is a massive monster club in England, to then a very small level club, which is a completely different culture surrounding it. And you almost saw him on the screen adapting, and at the beginning he was like, well, what the hell is this? And he was fixing things, gave that woman her kitchen. What a saint.
He also told the woman to get rid of that free Sky Sports they had.
Yeah, get rid of that dodgy Sky Sports.
That was dodgy.
A little bit of a product placement.
I'm surprised she wasn't arrested for that, because that's fraud.
Bit rogue, but then if you look at him doing that, what's to say he can't go to Valencia and start to
free Sky.
It's a good get him free Sky, the kitchen.
I'll put a dish up there.
Yeah.
But
portable kitchen over there.
Has being a fan favourite got to his head, kind of? I mean, he's loved here, he's adored here, but in Spain, who is he really?
Think about why Gary Neville's adored, though. It's because he's like a legend at a football club.
He is.
Where he played consistently well.
And on FIFA,
under a great
Xbox.
manager.
Under a fantastic manager. Yeah. Under an amazing manager.
Yeah.
He's now playing as part of an England setup which looks quite solid and is progressive, even though Roy Hodgson's at the head of that.
Yeah.
And his analysis is better than anyone else on English TV.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's worked hard to get there.
He has.
It's a clever move for him, I think, with who he's got at the club, how he can structure that club. He can go in and go, this is my philosophy, I want to implement this. He's got a lot of very young team there, actually, to work with, very raw.
I think that's why they like him, don't they?
And I think it might be perfect for him to go in and go, you know what, this is the discipline I want to put forward, and this
they
is
do
how
need
we're
discipline.
do it.
Let's talk Man City, because... What?
What? What?
Exactly.
Literally
now, that was the reaction on the weekend, wasn't it? Sorry, we're playing Stoke here. Why?
Well, Stoke were brilliant, though. Let's get away from Stoke. Man City were off, but the likes of Bojan and stuff weaving in between
their
the
best game of the season.
Good God, he was fantastic, wasn't he? And then Shaqiri coming inside. And
Shaqiri was the initial...
Arnautovic should have had a hat-trick, really.
Yeah,
if
really
he didn't slip, it's a shame. But
everyone's favourite Austrian, but with everyone's favourite crosser.
What a performance by Stoke.
Yes. I mean, all over the pitch. It wasn't just the attacking.
No.
Although Shaqiri was doing everything that made it look like he was having a good time, right? Yeah. Like, he did the no-look pass, he did the fix beyond people.
But not taking anything away from Stoke, Manchester City should be winning that game. They're trying to go for the title. They should. I mean, Stoke traditionally are not an easy team to beat, but you're Manchester City. I mean, you had De Bruyne on the pitch, you had Sterling, that's about 100 million between the pair of them. You should be winning the game. Like, seriously, I don't know why they're messing around. The inconsistency is a joke.
It's worrying that their backline looks so bad without Kompany.
So
and then
bad.
at times it can look so bad with Kompany.
And then he has...
Otamendi as well.
Yeah.
Di Michaelis looks
He'll
so
enjoy
far
it
off
in
the pace. And it's that spine again, isn't it? It's that spine of Yaya Toure missing, Kompany missing, and you think, oh, they look slightly weak, don't they? There's no Aguero in there.
Heart's
Where's
not
the
as
goals
good
coming
as
from?
he used to be.
And you look at like Fernando. Fernando absolutely bossed off the ball for the first 2 goals. Turned by Shaqiri on both occasions, once on the flank, and he got rolled off it, and then the second time, a lovely, amazing little turn and ball in behind. And it's just like, you think, it's far too easy if you're Fernando to then hobble off at 70 minutes or got a bit of a pulled hamstring, a bit of an injured hamstring. You think, how much commitment level is there in that team?
Do you think that's part of the problem, is that actually, is it the system at City, or is it actually under Pellegrini that they've got a few problems here?
I want to put it down to Spurs. I think Man City were flying until we battered them 4-1, and then everyone realised, do you know what? They can be beaten. And, you know, Liverpool's beat them 4-1 as well.
Who else beat them? Thrashed them.
A couple of teams have beat them this season.
Including Stoke, because they were pretty soundly beaten by Stoke as well.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think they've realised there's weaknesses there if they've got a couple key players out. When really they have two teams, they have a big squad, but still, when a couple key players are out, you can beat them.
And it still looks like without Aguero, they still look a little bit limp. I don't think Boney's quite the player they thought he was going to be when they signed him.
He had just zeros across all his stats.
He just hasn't quite hit the level. Because one time at Swansea, everybody thought this guy has got what it takes to go to a top level team. Now he's at a top level team. You think he's still slightly off the pace, right? He's not.
Do you feel like he's a bit wasted though in that team, don't you? I feel it was a little bit wasted.
doesn't quite suit him, but I think the wind played a massive part. In fairness to City, the ball was getting blown absolutely all over the place.
Well, Stoke managed fine with it.
They did, but then you look at Stoke and you think that they experienced that a lot of weeks of the season will be very windy, open-sided Britannia Stadium, and
Britannia's so close to the Etihad. I don't know if
that's
really an excuse.
That's England.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just think that
could you do it on a wet, windy?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think simply the City players literally couldn't do it on a windy night at the Britannia, and it came down to the fact that Stoke used the ball better on the ground, which you'd never thought you'd say, right? You thought you'd go Stoke.
No Yaya though.
No Yaya, of course, but then you think City's still got more than enough to use the ball well on the floor and through the likes of De Bruyne and stuff. It never quite happened. Never clicked, really.
There is a reason you're on this show.
Come on!
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's Spurs.
Come on.
Yeah, talk to me. What's happening? Why?
We're IKEA at the moment. So many draws. You know, it's just, I don't know what's going on.
Pre-prepared, that was.
Yeah, you know, I say it a lot on my other videos. You can check out my YouTube channel. Anyway, there's so many draws going on and it's frustrating, but we haven't lost for 14 games and in my life, I've never said this about Spurs and I feel like we have a philosophy. So a lot of people are trying to say, well, maybe they're being Spursy again. There's a chance to break into the top 4 and go for it. But I think a lot of the games we've drawn this season, we actually would have lost in previous seasons.
So it's an upgrade in a way.
It is definitely an upgrade. I mean, we're 6 points off the top of the league in December. I mean, like, I think is it 1 or 2 points off top 4? And I think we're the victims of our own downfall right now because we're not creating enough opportunities for Harry Kane to put away and we're just not scoring enough goals, but we're not losing games. No one can come and beat us right now. And the only game we lost of the season was to this guy's team and it was a Kyle Walker own goal. It was an OG, okay? It was a bit of bad luck. But we just don't lose. So we just got to make sure we win. And that's that. Hugo Lloris or Alderweireld do not want to lose games. They don't want to concede.
They've got a great back line. And they built from that, don't they?
Brilliant. I mean, that ball from, I think it was Alderweireld, that ball?
Yeah, it was.
Into Harry Kane.
No, Dele Alli.
That's into Dele Alli.
Who is immaculate at the moment, by the way.
But
no, I'm going to say something, and I'm prepared for a lot of delusional comments in the comment section. Oh, he's delusional. But I genuinely think we should go for the league. And I've never said this before in my entire life as a Spurs fan. Honestly, I've had Spurs fans say it under Harry Redknapp. I've never said it. But the reason I say we should go for the league is because I feel like if we go for it and we fall short, we get top 4. I feel like if we aim for top 4 and we fall short, it's curtains. So we just got to go for it. I mean, it's open at this point in time. Go for it. Go for the league. If we can get goals, maybe bring in Berahino in January, maybe a good midfielder, there's no reason why we can't at least try and challenge.
You get a better striker than Berahino. You can get a better
Who's going to want to sit on the bench for Harry Kane? A better one.
Son's happy to sit on
Son isn't an orthodox striker.
Maybe
he can do a role.
I thought there was a reason he dressed that way. What do you think of the pressing at Spurs?
I think it's phenomenal. I think Klopp's is a cheap rip-off, even though he did it at Dortmund originally. Sorry, I have to say. I just don't think he has the players to do that pressing at the moment. He needs to bring in his own players to implement that style. I think Poch has had the year
to kind of... You don't think Klopp has got the players to do it?
No, not at Liverpool. I don't think the players...
You did see the Southampton game?
Yeah, but that's Southampton.
You did see the City game?
It's a Capital One Cup game.
Yeah,
Where was it yesterday? Where was it yesterday? We're going to talk about this in a minute.
We will talk about that.
We will stick with Spurs.
But that's not pressing that let Liverpool down yesterday.
Poch had a year to kind of weed out the bad weeds.
Who were they?
Paulinho, Soldado, Adebayor was the worst. I mean, he was bad, but he's got rid of them. He's brought in young players. He's brought through the system. Brought in Dele Alli, who was phenomenal for MK Dons, and now there's a philosophy there. There is a philosophy. High press, high energy. I mean, usually when we play on a Thursday, we'd lose on the weekend. We haven't lost. We haven't lost. And that's kind of why I'm angry we didn't beat West Brom, actually, because we didn't play a midweek game. We wasn't in the Capital One Cup. So we actually had 7 days rest for once, and we didn't seize the initiative.
Top 4 ambitions for Liverpool, or do they?
Yeah, well, I think they're definitely in the hunt for it. There's no doubt about it, but they have to improve in a number of areas in January to make it a thing.
Really? You think it's about buying?
In areas, but I don't think you need to go out and spend what Chelsea will need to have to spend in January. But you look at the players injured, I would get another centre mid in, because I think if Chan and Henderson aren't going to be there, I didn't think Allen was anywhere near the standard yesterday against
No, he was pretty off, wasn't he? But he played so well in early
Chan's been unbelievable for you guys.
Chan's, I'd say, been Liverpool's man this season so far.
Been very good as well. You look at the likes of Coutinho being injured, Henderson being injured, and there's obviously a lot of big names to come back, but then you think, if you're looking at depth to get that real top 4 push on, I still think you're missing in a couple of areas. One, maybe centre-back area, I'd still think you could look at.
It's a little bit. I mean, it's unfortunate to lose Saka.
One is a slightly more defensively minded midfielder. I think Lucas will run out of legs towards the back end of the season. If
I think he looked pretty out of his. I think that was the problem with Liverpool's formation. And the problem is, if Liverpool aren't attacked, what happens against them then? That was the problem. Is Liverpool's pressing was no problem against Newcastle, but because Newcastle sat so deep themselves. There was nothing to press.
And you've also got, when you play Benteke instead of Daniel Sturridge, you struggle with that transitional football because his movement is nowhere near the same as Daniel Sturridge, where Daniel Sturridge gets in behind and runs flank channels and comes short. He's very hard to deal with and he allows players to get past him. But when you've got a static Benteke, whose basic movement is just across the line and then looking for balls in from the flank, you lose a whole sort of massive side of your game.
Do you think the problem there is that Liverpool didn't play to anyone's strengths in that starting lineup? I mean, I've had a pretty poor game. Firmino had like a 4 at best.
Yeah, Firmino was poor. Firmino was poor. I mean, where was the Firmino that you saw at City? Maybe it was because you had Benteke in the team and he wasn't making the runs for him. And you look at what Daniel Sturridge adds is he pulls at least one defender away from him and then creates the space for Firmino in the hole.
Yeah. I think it's unfair though to say that Benteke is sort of that one-dimensional because actually Benteke
he's not one-dimensional. He's not one-dimensional.
He's not
Spurs
on the
Spurs
weekend
have liked
he
him at this point.
I would love to take Benteke. I've been a fan of Benteke's for a while now. But I agree with Joe. I mean, I think when Benteke is playing, you're looking for more hold-up play, one touch off to the midfielders, rather than Sturridge getting behind the defenders and being... I think Liverpool's top 4 hopes really depend on Sturridge being fit. I mean, when he plays, they just look like a different team when he plays, to be honest. He played yesterday, but he's not all the way match fit, in my opinion.
Thank you very much for watching today on Football Daily Weekly. If people want to head over to see you, where can they find you?
Craig Mitch, just type me on YouTube. I've got my own YouTube channel, Spurred On, and Filthy Fellas.
All good channels. Go and subscribe over there. And yeah, people just come back here for you, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much. Just back in the exact same spot.
Do you run the Football Daily Twitter or anything?
No, that's another guy.
Do you sit next to the guy who does it?
I sit next to the guy who does it.
Do you ever go,
does a great
get a load of
job.
this?
Does a great job.
We'll see you again real soon on Football Daily Weekly.